Alright guys, welcome to the 18th episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out what we've been up to in Vienna and Munich, why people in hostels have no personal standards,
And how we ended up calling an ambulance for a crackhead in a train station.
Let's get into it. Right, back in, live from Prague.
A random church yard, I guess.
Yeah, it's a churchyard. There are trams in the background, so apologies for any background noise from the off. There's a baby sleeping over there, so we're conscious of
Our volume levels, and this is better than the option A though, which was a park filled with skagheads.
Yeah, it was Skaghead Central.
Yeah. And so this is, believe me, the better option. But yeah, we're chilling. I don't know if you can see the view.
There's an Essence view behind us.
And hopefully you can still hear us when we're.
Yeah, you're currently perched on what I think was a box of organic ginger, so that's good.
That's good.
That I just stole from a man who was emptying the bins of a cafe.
There's no tripod, so we've had to make do. But anyway, let's get straight into it. Let's cover some admin first, or the segments first, or what do you want to do?
We'll cover some admin. So this is the second episode of our European travels,
Yeah.
and this episode will focus around. Well, we'll pick up from where we left off last time,
Which was just leaving Budapest.
which was a week ago today.
Yeah.
So this is Sunday.
Yeah.
So we left Budapest Monday morning for Vienna.
Yeah.
We spent 2 days in Vienna.
Yeah, and then left Vienna
On Wednesday to go to Munich.
and spent 2 days in Munich.
Yeah, so this episode is going to cover Vienna and Munich.
Yeah.
And then, even though we're in Prague currently, we're going to save that for episode 3.
Yeah, and we've pretty much done our Prague bit now, but we're going to save that little bit for a little cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah. So we thought that we'd pair Vienna and Munich together effectively because we took a lot of L's, haven't we?
Yeah.
We're two broken men.
If you're not familiar with the term of L, then it just means
Losses.
Yeah, well, it just means loss. It means something that's not gone your way, effectively.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of that to deal with. A lot of adversity thrown our way.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I don't think very highly of Vienna or Munich. I probably won't be
Munich better so. Munich was tainted because of our experience in Vienna, and we were already threaders.
Yeah, we were, again, some more admin. If you don't know what threaders means, it's a Royal Marine term that I've picked up off you.
Yeah, true.
Which basically means seething, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just means you're not happy with the situation, which is obviously used in the military a fair bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to keep to our structure because we like structure and we like routine. So, helmet of the week first.
Yeah. Helmet of the week.
You can introduce if you want.
Yeah, so the helmet of the week this week is effectively going to underpin the entire episode. It's going to be a bit Sappuccino-esque if we're carrying on the theme of last week.
If you watched last week's episode, you'll understand.
I know we called out the Sappuccinos last week, but this may be a bit Sappuccino-y.
Yeah, only because of the various L's we were taking. Any normal pair would have wrapped by that point.
Yeah. And that's some more admin we need to cover as well. Rapping.
Oh yeah, we do.
Because this is basically the theme of the podcast.
This might be the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, rapping just means when you kind of give up on something or you stop trying, basically.
Yeah.
That's effectively.
Yeah. So if you rap, you've just given up.
Yeah.
It could be specific or it could be a general. It could be a life rap. Like our skagheads in the park.
Yeah, they've rapped on life.
Yeah. But basically our week has been plagued by people with no personal standards, aka they've rapped on life.
Yeah, and so therein lies our helmet of the week. People with no personal standards. And this spans, as you can imagine, a whole fucking lot of issues, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think now that we've set up Helmet of the Week, we'll basically just spend the rest of the episode exemplifying why they are Helmet of the Week.
Yeah,
it will just be a long, extended Helmet of the Week.
Yeah, it will be.
So if we pick up on Monday morning, Budapest train station, and this is where it all started to go a bit wrong.
This is mental. I don't know where you want to start with this, really, because
well, in summary, we basically watched a bloke die.
Yeah,
Billy the Biscuit.
Yeah, we've turned in Billy the Biscuit because.
Do you want to explain this?
Yeah, this is quite convoluted. There's a couple of levels.
There's many layers to this nickname, so you need to deconstruct it.
So, in the military, when people die, we call it browning out, and also when you have ration packs, there are biscuit browns in the ration packs.
Yeah.
And so we've amalgamated the two. He wasn't called Billy. We don't know what his name was, but because biscuit was the second word, we had to, alliteration had to happen. So
we tried to make light of the fact that we had just watched someone snuff it out.
We'd witnessed a death.
So we gave him the whimsical name of Billy the Biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
so we referred to him as Billy the Biscuit.
So this guy was obviously clearly like a drug user. I don't know if he was homeless as well, but he could have been. And we were early for our train, so we parked ourselves on a bench as you would do in a train station. And we were kind of we were aware of these kind of three blokes behind us, weren't they?
Well, yeah, there's three blokes on the road behind us.
But one of them had fucking browned out.
Well, no, he was just asleep.
Yeah, he was asleep and like
he's having a little train station nap.
Yeah, the Hungarian equivalent of like the community support officers.
Yeah.
Came over and accosted him.
Yeah, and tried to like send him on his merry way.
Yeah, which it turns out that's the worst thing that could have happened, because if they'd have just left him sleeping,
it'd have been sad.
None of this would have happened.
No, and so they basically stuck with him until they were kind of kicking him to get him up.
Yeah.
Like, right, stand up, stand up, stand up. You're not allowed to lie down in the train station. Just wait for that to go across. Yeah, so they were kicking him, weren't they?
Yeah.
To get him up, which is quite a novel way to get someone up.
They shook this crackhead awake, effectively. So now he's live.
Now he's live.
He could go off at any point.
Live and dangerous.
Yeah.
So he's got no control, no motor function, no control of his fucking lower limbs.
Yeah.
So now he's just like stumbling about with no balance.
Yeah, so he was obviously high. Like, I don't know if you've seen
I don't know
it. Like,
what.
the equivalent in England is probably like someone on Spice, you know, where they're just like kind of... They like lose motor function and they're just kind of like zombie-esque, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, he looked like a zombie.
So he's now, effectively... It's like when a toddler learns to walk. You know, and they're just kind of aimlessly ambling around and they have no real...
Yeah, the only like barriers for where he could move was like the walls. Like,
yeah,
he would just
genuinely.
like walk into one and then he'd have to go the other way.
So at this point, the community support officers have woken him up and then fucked off.
And they've thought, job done.
Which again,
we'll
they've
leave
wrapped.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So that was the first rap.
Yeah, and it turns out to be quite a significant rap.
Yeah, so now he's just wandering aimlessly around the station like a zombie, bumping into walls and shit. We then...
Hold on. so he bumped into walls, but he adopted his favourite position.
That I've termed the tripod.
The tripod.
With 3 points of contact, 2 of them being his legs, and the third one being his head in the corner of a wall.
Yeah.
So he's like...
Just like posted himself, hadn't he?
Yeah.
On his head, and leaning all his body weight into his head, because it's all he can what he can do. He can't use his hands, and his legs are just there as like effectively supports.
Yeah.
And that's why he just adopted that position for a while, didn't he? And then he'd wrapped there.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool. That's like probably best case scenario, that, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Because he's up, but he's fucking, at least he's like supported effectively. And then he sort of had a new lease of life, didn't he?
Yeah. Then he went mobile, for want of a better phrase.
We were the only people in the vicinity, so I think cognitively he might have been still there, and so he sort of realised we were about, didn't he?
I think cognitively, yeah, he was there, but he had no motor function.
I don't know how cognitively.
So inevitably
there
at this
he was,
point we are laughing at him.
Yeah,
because he's adopted the tripod position. He's ambling around like a baby.
Yeah, and he's about 15 feet
and
away
I think
from us at this
he
point.
caught on to the fact that we were kind of effectively
ripping him a new one.
So really weirdly, he's like come for us, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but he's a zombie.
Literally like. So imagine Walking Dead when zombies start to fucking come after you.
Yeah.
It's like that when they like lock onto you and they think they can scram you,
Yeah.
and then they fucking go for you. That's what happened. And then so we were sat on a bench. He came up to us, getting closer.
And he was like, surely he's going to stop.
Yeah.
And he nearly got me.
But he sat on your lap.
Yeah, he fully nearly sat on my lap.
I got out of the way. We both got out of the way, and then we left him on our chair, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, we're gonna fucking move and find some different seats. This is weird. So we walked down the train station for a bit, and then every now and then we'd look back, and he was like following us.
He followed us a good like 50 foot. Yeah. I reckon.
Even without any fucking function, either. He's like bouncing off walls still.
Yeah. So he's obviously moving at snail's pace. So we're like going to get some scran, having a piss or whatever, and we'll look back.
And he's still there.
And he's slowly but surely he's gaining ground.
Yeah, he was mad. And then the platforms were like upstairs, so there was little I guess right angles of wall that he would like lean on.
Yeah, where you could adopt the tripod, but you could deploy the tripod.
He deployed his tripod manoeuvre a couple of times to save energy. You know, it was an energy saving manoeuvre.
Yeah.
And then we fucked off, didn't we? We were like, this is weird. But then I don't know. We came back to check our train time or something.
We came back because we were unsure of which train which train our
platform our
was.
train was.
Yeah. So the long and short of it is, we came back down to check our train platform, and it just so happened to coincide with the exact moment that he's fallen backwards and just absolutely caned his head off the tiled floor, like
back
right
of,
the
like
sweet
back,
spot of your head where it's soft.
Yeah, back of his head went fully cannoned on there.
I've never seen anything like. The only thing I can compare it to is like a boxing KO.
Yeah, but that. Yeah, and like when you see him their head bounce off the canvas.
Yeah, off the canvas. It was
that
horrible.
was like that, but the noise it made, because if it was fucking obviously concrete, was mental.
Yeah, so that's the second wrap.
I've
Billy
initially
the Biscuit's wrapped there.
Yeah, I've initially thought, right, he's cracked his head open as a minimum, and he's got some deep brain trauma as a fucking maximum.
I just assumed that there was just going to be blood gushing out of his head.
Yeah, there was no blood, but he was deeply unconscious for a good amount of time. These women who were next to him picked up their phone and rang some. I'm assuming rang some.
Yeah, it should be said at this point we have immediately tried to get help.
Oh yeah, we didn't just watch him and fuck
we didn't just watch and laugh. At this point, we have realised he has fucked it.
Yeah.
So we immediately went to the nearest person in high-vis that we could find, and this is where the third wrap comes in, because this bloke was about as useful as a fucking marzipan dildo.
He stood there in high-vis and he watched the same thing.
Yeah, he saw it, and we've like
it.
signposted it and being like, mate, you just saw that. Are you going to do anything about it?
But you're in a position of power. You know, kind of the chain of command going on here.
Yeah.
What do you do in this situation?
He didn't give a shit, did he?
And he was like, it's okay.
Yeah, he was dropping game on a fucking bird.
Yeah, he was like, it's okay. I was like, mate, it's not okay. He's
been
been unconscious now for 20 minutes.
He's fucking browned out on the floor. Look, he's not moved in 20 minutes.
You're staring at a bloke who's literally not moved for 25 minutes, and you're like, it's okay. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
So the long and the short of it, this went on for about half an hour while we were still waiting for our train, and eventually you rang for an ambulance, didn't you?
Yeah, because I was like, this has gone on for so long, there's no one coming to help him. That bloke was useless. And so, I rang the Budapest fucking authorities, and they put me through to the ambulance people, and they were like, they put me on comms with their ambulance.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm going to connect you with the actual ambulance who's driving.
Which
and
is
I was like on shortwave radio with the driver, and he was like, where's this place? Where's this guy? And I explained to him the platform he was on and like where he was, what happened, and they were like, oh. Yeah, we already know about this.
Yeah, we know, we don't care.
This is like 35 minutes now after.
There's the fourth wrap.
Yeah.
The fucking wrap of the day.
Yeah, the fucking...
And we're still at 10 a.m. in the morning here. We've not actually left Budapest
How
yet.
much has happened there? That's mental. And so, that was like the final wrap of that situation was the fucking emergency services, or lack of emergency services.
Yeah. So
Budapest
as if that's not traumatic enough, right? We're now on our train, and this is where our second encounter of the morning comes into the fray.
Obviously, we're not in a good headspace here. We're basically nursing a 3-day hangover as it is. We've had to take on the sort of trauma of Billy the Biscuit.
We've had 3-day hangover. Billy the Biscuit. It's about 30 degrees on an unair conditioned train without a seat.
So we're in the footwell.
So we're in the footwell of the train where you get on and off the carriage. And then this is where our mate
trampled on by loads of fucking people.
Tea Leaf Tommy comes into the fray.
Yeah, big Tea Leaf Tommy.
You
might have noticed that we've nicknamed everyone.
Yeah.
So this will become a theme throughout the podcast.
Yes, we've tried to make light of all the psychological trauma that we've encountered by giving these people whimsical names.
That will inevitably really ugly head at some point.
So do you want to do some more military slang admin?
I don't know if it's military slang.
Is it not?
No, tea leaf is like a tea leaf is. I think it's Cockney slang.
Thief.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Tea leaf.
Cockney rhyming slang. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this bloke, basically, this local Hungarian bloke.
It was this is mental. To unpack.
Approached us. So we're in the footwell, right? So we haven't got seats or anything. He's come
from a seat.
He's come from a seat. I thought to use the toilet.
Yeah, because we were next to the toilet.
And he's come to us in broken English. Translate.
He was like, I thought he was asking what platform.
Yeah.
He came at us originally with Austrian.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't speak Austrian.
Well, German, yeah.
Or German, whatever.
Or, yeah.
I don't know what you were speaking, but like...
Speaking shit.
And then, we were like, oh, I don't know. Ask someone else. And then he was just
he was persistent, wasn't he?
Kept talking, didn't speak any English, didn't even try to fucking do anything.
And he's like, phone,
like,
translate.
Get your phone out.
Right, so immediately, rule one of travelling, right? If a stranger in a foreign country asks you to get your phone out,
you don't get
your phone out.
So I was like, oh, I ain't got a phone.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I went, where's your phone? And he goes, oh, it's it's on charge down there. I was
Yeah.
like, so you do speak English, you fucking
Right,
ass.
yeah. Selective English.
Yeah.
So anyway, right, he's then taken a shine to our 1 litre bottle of water.
Which is our only source of oxygen.
Which we're rationing, right, because we're on a 30-degree train for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
So he's pointed at this water, right, and he's gone, was he saying Wasser?
Something like that.
Yeah, like the German for water or whatever. Yeah, water, what? And he's like, he's
like
giving a
gesturing.
hand gesturing for drinking.
Yeah, for listeners. He's gesturing that he wants basically to have a little swig of our hogging, doesn't he?
Yeah, so at this point we're just fucking seething and want rid of it.
I was like, what are you on about, mate? Because bear in mind the morning we've already had and the fact we're now sweating on this train.
Yeah.
We're like, this is the last thing we need, last encounter we need.
He's like, Wasser,
Yeah.
translate. And we're like, what? So eventually I'll just get it. No, in fact, he got it himself.
He
didn't
did, yeah.
Yeah, he's pointed at it, and we're like, yeah.
What do
I
you
mean,
want?
we just like nod, like,
What, yeah.
and he's like, ah. So he reaches for our water, which is in the side pouch of your bag.
Yeah.
And he's got it, and he's fucking necked it.
Nah, he got it first. He got it, didn't he? He went like that, and he went, can I drink?
Yeah.
And we were like,
Right,
you've gone 85% of the way there,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you might as well fucking finish.
He's basically in his mouth when he said that.
Yeah. So then, and rather than take a little sip, he fully necked about half.
He swigged it, right, and he's given dirt. See, you at school when your mate would ask for your drink, there's some ground rules there.
Yeah.
Like, you try not to get it in your mouth,
hygiene.
you do a squirty, don't you?
Yeah.
And you certainly don't backwash it.
No.
He did both of those things.
He went
so at this
two
point,
transgressions
and you know
there.
why he's done that? Because he knows that we now don't want it back.
And he went as if to like hand it us back.
Yeah.
And we're like,
No,
You
just
keep
fucking
it,
out.
you
Right,
fucking
so
knob it.
basically, Tea Leaf Tommy nabbed our water on the train, right? And as if that isn't worse, right? We then watched him for the remainder of the train journey, nabbing shit off other people on the
just
carriage.
couldn't bother other
So he
people.
stole some food off some other poor woman. He tried to get a Mexican bloke that was stood next to us to fucking do something for him,
Yeah,
didn't
and
he?
he kept going translator.
And it got to the point where actual fucking Austrian feds had to have a word with him.
Yeah, they had to sit him down and
Yeah.
then go, mate. What the
Like,
fuck
mate,
you
stop
doing?"
fucking tea leaf and everything
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
train, like, honestly.
Tea leaf,
It's the most
Tommy, man.
resourceful bloke I've ever encountered
He
in my life.
must never pack anything and just go, well, I'm going
He's
to
just
go and
like,
grab it
"Fuck
off other people.
He probably didn't buy a ticket.
Yeah.
He just fucking nabbed it off someone else. Like, you buy my ticket?
Yeah.
Fucking hat. Right, so that's it. We're not even in Vienna yet, and we've just gobbed off for 20 minutes about all this.
Yeah, I mean, that was mad. So, again, then we're on like our 2.5 hour train, and we're like, oh, at least when we get to Vienna, it'll be nice. I didn't really know what to expect from Vienna.
Yeah. So I'd been to Vienna before, you hadn't. I thought it was a bit kind of, what's the word? Vacuous, I guess.
Yeah.
Bit Tory. Vienna. It's like full of palaces. It looks nice, but there's not much substance to it.
Yeah.
Effectively, that would be my overview.
What did we do when we got there?
Well, we went to the hostel, which immediately didn't pay.
Wasn't the train delayed?
I think all of our trains have been delayed, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, so we had a massive delay on the train.
This is another thing as well. We won't get bogged down in this, but the Deutsche Bahn, as in like the German rail system, even though in England we always go on about how good it is, it's shit apparently. Hasn't worked since the 90s.
Apparently this is a known thing.
Yeah, no one told me that.
Because like every time we've been like, oh, I thought we've been chatting to Germans, but like, I thought the German thing was really good. They're like, oh no, this happens all the time.
They just laugh, don't they? You silly British.
Yeah. Welcome to the Deutsche
Our
Bahn.
trains haven't worked. That's French. Our trains haven't worked since the 80s.
Yeah, that was great. So yeah, if you're coming to Interrail in Germany,
don't expect to get on a train.
Yeah. Well, don't expect to be impressed anyway.
But like, so why weren't we impressed with Austria then? Let's summarise this instead of getting bogged down. So the hostel itself
wasn't a bad hostel.
Which wasn't bad, but we basically
clientele.
we've pulled a lot of short straws with people that we've had to share dorms with guests.
Yeah,
and this is where our third character of the episode comes in, Beluga.
What is a beluga?
So it's a type of whale.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Did we give her a name or not?
I don't know,
No,
but she
another name. She didn't deserve a name.
No. Basically, right, we're in this room with this bird, and she immediately, right, her admin shit, which has annoyed me because a fucking.
Oh no, this wasn't even the first one. Oh, we fucking
getting ahead of ourselves.
Skated over. What do we call him now?
Shithouse Sean.
No.
Rapan Ryan.
These are all to be introduced later on. No, fuck. Stig of the dump.
Oh, Stig of the dump. Yeah.
Stig of the dump.
Again, as you can imagine, didn't have the best admin.
Yeah, so basically we got in. I didn't see this, but you were privy to this, weren't you? He was there with, like, I think it was his missus. They didn't talk for like the whole time they were there,
Yeah, I
right?
forgot about
but,
this.
but he was on the top bunk. The first thing he did was fucking rap, basically. The first thing he did was get in his top bunk with his fucking full rig on, right?
With his horrible gopping, like, trust fund traveller rig. You know, you can picture it like
Yeah.
shorts that haven't been washed in years, a vest that's got holes in it, you know what I mean? All
Yeah,
proper
dead trim that hasn't been done in
dead
fucking
trim,
years.
yes. Birkenstocks.
Yeah, and so he's immediately just thrown his music on and just like not done any admin or not set
No,
himself
he's not
up, do you know
unpacked
what I
his
mean?
bag, like he's not fucking got his toiletries out, whatever.
Yeah, so then what did he go on? You
So he's parked himself in his pit, right, and he's thrown his Birkenstocks off, and then he's bedded straight down in somewhat like a term nail care admin. So he's full on got his trotters out, right, and his nail clippers, and he's just sorting his talons out in his pit.
Oh, yeah.
But then not only that, he's doing the fucking old scratch and sniff as well.
Oh.
So like he's trimming them and then he's picking them and he's giving it a fucking sniff. But and he's in a public space as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and
because
he's in his own bed.
Yeah, he's in his
More
own
importantly, he's got to fucking sleep in that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
He's sleeping in and amongst his own nails.
And this comes back to bad personal standards. Or
yeah, so you
zero
can see the
personal
theme
standards.
of this episode developing now from the very.
Who's that?
For the audio listeners, Shep momentarily got distracted by a bird off camera.
Yeah. What?
So yeah, the
Anyway.
theme of the episode is developing quite clearly now.
Yeah,
People
a lot of that.
rapping
A lot of it is.
because they've got no standards for themselves.
Exactly, and so you trace this all the way back to Billy the Biscuit, who obviously
He really was
got,
a trailblazer in this sense.
got himself into that position first of all, and then proceeded to brown out. And
We don't know if he's alive, by the way. I mean, he was
No.
breathing when we left him.
he was, you
But
could see the rise and fall of his
But
chest.
we'd literally called an ambulance for him and no one had come, so...
Yeah, and we were on a train at that point to a different country.
So we got Stig of the Dump, then we've got
Stig of the Dump.
Beluga, who's more of the same, basically. Just
Yeah,
rotting,
no, we need to cover
rotting
that,
in a pit all day.
Yeah, but so I don't know how
So
to
there's,
term
so
this
there's a
properly.
rap culture, as in, not rap as in the music genre, as in people rapping in hostels. There's a distinct culture.
Certainly in Vienna, it's like they go to that as like a stopgap
Yeah.
between party destinations.
So there's a
isn't it?
distinct type of person in
They
hostels
just
who
don't do
basically
anything.
spend all day moping about because they're on like a come down or they're hungover or whatever. So they'll mope about in the shadows in their pit all day, and then at night they'll go out for like 6 or 7 hours. Like I assume to do drugs or to drink or something, I don't know, or to scran,
Yeah.
and then they'll get back in the pit and
For
it'll
Beluga, it's probably scram.
yeah, and then they'll rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So anyway, Beluga was a rather plus size lady. Anyway, and but that's not the issue. I don't care. Obviously, don't be fat. But you know, I can't do anything about that. She's
No, it was more just the admin, wasn't it?
it was the
Like,
admin. So
the
we
lack
woke
of
up.
standards.
We woke up threaders that we were in Vienna because we were already unimpressed with it.
Yeah.
And then we woke up, and these hostel beds had a curtain across.
They were like little, I guess it's like
Cabins, innit?
little cabins if you're on a ship or something.
Yeah.
So they're not like standard bunk beds. They're like little portholes that you can post yourself into.
So
aren't they?
if you don't want people, if people obviously don't want to see you sleeping because you're fucking half naked and you know no one wants to see that.
Yeah.
So you pull your finger across.
Yeah.
Well, even though it's red, you pull it across. And I woke up, and she had a thing not even pulled across at all. She hadn't even bothered with
Yeah,
it.
she's not drawn a curtain.
And she was like hanging out of the fucking bed.
Yeah, Jen.
Like, what are you doing?
And it was the lock. So
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
just
yeah,
turning,
yeah.
bearing in mind, like there's 8 people in this room.
Yeah.
Instead of turning her alarm off immediately, she just keeps hitting snooze and going back to sleep.
Yeah.
So every 10 minutes, we're getting woken up by her alarm.
Yeah, and she's just rapping.
Yeah.
And again, that's the same theme throughout. She had no standards for herself to get herself in that position. First of all, and she's got no standards to get herself up in the morning.
Yeah. That's
and then
it.
she would mope about the hostel all day.
Yeah, we
Anyway,
need
that's
to get a
the
wriggle on
that's
here.
the hostel.
We're getting bogged down. Yeah, people with no standards in hostels. Why else was Vienna underwhelming? Let's quick. Oh, the nightlife's
night out,
terrible.
wow.
Nightlife in Vienna is terrible. Don't go for the session, basically.
Mind you, it was a Monday, right?
But it's a capital city of a developed nation in the Western world.
Yeah, it should be something.
No
going on.
excuses.
And there was a fucking public holiday.
Yeah, and there was a public holiday on the Tuesday. So you know, Bank Holiday Sunday in the UK, major piss up.
Yeah, it's absolute carnage.
Like the streets are alive
With the sound of music.
with the sound of drinking.
Yeah, and then in Vienna, it would appear that's not the case. We found one dive club that had like more than fucking 6 people in, and so we parked ourselves in there for a few hours.
Yeah.
And it was horrendous. It was just weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, I lost my head.
Yeah,
basically.
Eddie
I just
lost
my
his
head,
head.
which again has become a running
That's
theme
become
of
a
this
theme.
holiday.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Some voluntary, some involuntary, but I have lost my head.
Yeah, and so we were in there. Nothing really happened on that night at all, apart from Austrian blokes just staring us out for no reason.
Yeah, not got a glowing reputation, have they? In my mind, at least, Austrian men.
No, Austrian men just seem unnecessarily
Because
standoffish.
obviously, like the Czech people, German people have been really kind, friendly.
Certainly German.
Proper helped us out, introduced themselves.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Austrian blokes are just fucking rap hands, aren't they?
Well, they just seem to walk around and proper like stare you out for no reason.
So
It's like, do you want to scrap me or shag me?
fuck them off. So what? That taxi driver as well. We need to cover that.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. So bear in mind, after this night out, we're fuming because it was shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
This is all still Monday, by the way.
True.
This is all still. So we've had Billy the Biscuit in the morning. This is
We had
now
a big
like
Monday, didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is now like in the early hours of Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and we were on our way back to our hostel in this Bolt, like a taxi, and these blokes driving was.
Yeah, he was an erratic driver. He was like he was doing a fucking a time trial GTA
No, you know what it was
mission.
like? It was like he'd just got his driver's license. His mum bought him a car. He's like, oh, how fast can it go?
No, it was like he was driving on GTA, but it was like a time trial mission.
Yeah.
You're just absolutely ragging it.
Yeah, which there's no need for.
Anyway, we're just having because we're not that leathered at this point because we've wrapped on the night out because it was shit. So we're just having a conversation on the back of his car, and he's genuinely turned round and told us to be quiet.
In a taxi.
Yeah, but not for any reason other than he was on the phone to someone and he wanted to gob off.
Yeah, and he's listening to his fucking shit music. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, people that happened twice in Vienna as well. Getting told to shut up. Maybe it's gobshites.
I think probably. Oh, no jaywalking in Vienna as well. You
suppose.
get tutted at if you jaywalk in the street, as in like if you don't wait for the little man to go green to cross the road.
Yeah,
which I can't get on. That's just blind conformity. That is. I can't.
Wasted time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Vienna. I don't think there's much else to cover, is there really?
Well, there's loads, but we need to fucking get a wriggle on.
Shift on, don't
So
we?
then Munich, obviously the train to Munich was delayed massively.
We were supposed to be in Munich at like, what, 4?
Yeah, so we lost an entire day in Munich basically. We'd kind of scheduled to have Wednesday and Thursday in Munich, and then we go to Prague on the Friday morning. But because the train was so delayed, we basically only ended up with one full day in Munich, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we haven't really experienced Munich fully because it was so delayed. But that set the tone for the trip.
But it was no good because we arrived late, went straight out. But like the day after, we had like an admin day to do anyway, so we didn't really see anything.
So we didn't see anything, and the hostel wasn't great. We
termed the room the Saigon Sweatbox.
The Saigon Sweatbox, yeah, because so if any of you seen the second Hangover movie where they're in Bangkok and they wake up in that absolute grotty shithole, it was basically like that.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was constantly about 40 degrees because the windows didn't open.
Yeah, so the roommates we had initially, those two birds.
Yeah, they were
sound. Like, chatting to them a bit, and like they were actually amenable. And then the rest of them, I think they were French. I don't know.
They're French. Which again, make of that what you will.
Make of that what you will. And yeah, mate, they were so like just dead. Is the term.
Like, again, a lot of rapping.
You're travelling here. You're on holiday.
Again, just rap hands, but not for admin reasons this time, for personality reasons. You're on holiday.
Yeah.
Fucking it's like they'd been drafted into a war or something.
Yeah, it's like they were there against their will.
Yeah. So I couldn't get on board with that. Didn't waste much time on them.
No, we didn't spend any time in the hostel, to be fair, because it was gopping. What did we even do? Oh, we went to the Allianz Arena. That
was good. I do recommend that actually. If you're into football and you're in Munich, you've got to. It's like the mecca of German football, isn't it? It's the Allianz.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
The home of Bayern Munich FC.
And then what did we do in the afternoon? Nothing.
No, because you had a call, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then in the evening,
did we go out?
We did something. Yeah. Again, I can't really.
Again, operating on minimal bandwidth here
I'm
again.
operating on about 5 hours sleep and a 3-day hangover here. So
again,
minimal bandwidth,
which is good. What did we do?
I can't remember.
Did we train?
Maybe.
We did. Oh,
yeah, we went to. Oh yeah, we went to a gym in the arse. We dug out to go to a CrossFit gym in the suburbs,
which was full.
So then we
sick.
went to a commercial gym
next door,
which was genuinely the quietest gym I've ever been in ever. It was like a library.
It was a lot. It was mental.
German gym, commercial gym etiquette is
and the Austrian one
is fucking bizarre.
And the Austrian one, we didn't cover that. Went to another commercial gym in Austria, and that was exactly the same. Because that day where we had to get, so the only full day in Vienna, that was another point, was the national holiday where absolutely nothing was open.
Like as in zero, like not even nothing. Corner shops were open.
Like everyone had just again wrapped, and so so this is becoming the thing, and so yeah, we couldn't get into the normal gym that we were going to go to, which was a sick gym, and then so we had to again kind of settle to go to these like commercial gyms, and they're the quietest, like least atmospheric places in
mental.
the world. It's madness.
So not only is there no music on, but there's also no kind of, you're not I don't know how to describe it. You're almost looked down upon if you make noise during your set.
Yeah, this is full of NPCs.
Yes, NPCs, non-player characters for anyone that's not a gamer. Just people kind of like
extras in a movie, like
rate of perceived exertion about 4.
Yeah,
there's no intensity basically, which you can tell because there's no noise.
Yeah,
there's no music.
No one's talking to each other. It's mad. Like, everyone's just shuffling around doing their own thing.
Sterile places. It's so bizarre because obviously if you go into a commercial gym in the UK like at peak time, it's like a sensory overload, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Because it's loud. There's people everywhere. You can't get any machines.
But a good example of a gym, like the CrossFit gyms we've been to.
Yeah,
it's actually an environment. There's like people talk to you.
There's there's an atmosphere.
There's music on, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I wasn't massively overly impressed with the gyms that we've been to there. The gym in Prague's been good. We'll cover that when we get to it.
Yeah. So what else have we got to cover? What else happened in Munich?
In Munchen.
Well, basically this episode is going to culminate in the fact that we then got the train from Munich to Prague, which is where we are now, and this is the worst journey of the lot in it, really. Up to a point, and we'll get on to this.
Yeah. We'll get on to that.
So we're going to leave this episode on a cliffhanger because, as we said, we're going to cover Prague in the next episode because a lot's happened, and
a lot has happened. We wouldn't be able to do it,
and it fits nicely if we get all the negatives out the way in this episode because we have achieved some W's since.
Yeah, we've turned it on its head a little bit, haven't we?
But yeah, basically, we got on the train to Prague from Munich station, and it was going swimmingly, wasn't it?
So, but it was like we had our own little cabin. It was great.
It was great. So there was 2 Yanks sat opposite each other at the window.
Yeah.
Then there was 2 Germans, and then there was us 2.
2 Brits.
So we were all getting on like a house on fire. It was like the start of a joke. It's like two Yanks, 2 Germans, and 2 Brits
sat on a train.
Sat on a train to Prague. It was class. We were all, they were giving us recommendations for like Berlin, which is where we're going next.
It was sick.
We were talking, and then
I was getting some work knocked out. It was great.
Yeah, and then our friend Jumping Jack comes into the fray.
Oh, Jumping Jack.
Another rap. So basically, it was all going swimmingly. We were having a right good time on the train. We had seats as well, which is a bonus. And then the almost inevitable announcement came over the tannoy. This train will be terminating in the arse end of nowhere, basically. Yeah. Because there's been a jumper on the line.
Yeah, which forced eventually about 450 people, probably more, to be stuck in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, this is proper, like, arse end of nowhere Bavaria.
Like, there's nothing there. Like, we couldn't even find a coffee shop.
This is the equivalent of being stuck in a remote train station in the lakes in the UK.
Yeah, there's fuck all there.
There's a coffee shop in this train station. There's a bar in the town, there's a supermarket in the town, and that's it.
Yeah, it was mad. But again,
originally the delay was only supposed to be for an hour, and we were in constant comms with our German mate because they could actually understand the tannoy.
And by the way, I'm shouting this geezer out. He was a fucking legend.
Yeah, he was.
There was one of
I've got his name. So his mate was called Victor, but I didn't actually get his name.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were so friendly, like, fucking so.
And he kept like going out of his way to come over to us. Bear in mind, we spoke to him the best part of like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But like coming out of his way to come and like translate what happened.
So yeah, are you guys okay?
Yeah,
so they've
by the way, they pushed it back by an hour, whatever. but like completely
proper legend. To be
digging
fair.
out for us, because there's no requirement for him to do that. Like,
No, none at all.
You know, he was more helpful than any of the fucking staff or any that kind of thing, which is mad. But so big props to him.
But anyway, the delay was supposed to be an hour, and then it became quite apparent that it wasn't just going to be an hour. It got pushed back to 2 hours, and then more trains of people who were supposed to be going to Prague are starting to get deposited at the station.
The same state. So their system when shit goes wrong is mental.
So this
happened with Munich as well.
Yeah, they just
so they just start to basically, it's like, okay, there's one train that we're going to be able to push to the actual final destination. So we're going to just offload all of the passengers we can onto this one station.
Yeah.
Get one train to pick them all up.
Yeah.
And take them to the end destination, which of course means that now you've got one train that's obviously has the capacity for one train's worth of people with 4 trains worth of people on. So it just becomes like an absolute fucking sweatbox. It goes mental because everyone's like stressed and people are fucking shouting at each other. Oh, didn't cover fucking what's the name? What do we call her? The second one, second biscuit.
Oh, Hong Kong heatwave. Yeah, there was another rap. There was another train station rap on the journey from Vienna to Munich. Right.
Hong Kong heatwave.
There was this a girl. We're at the station now. We're on the train and we're just staring out onto the train platform. It's like 30 degrees.
32. It's
32.
So hot, mate.
She's
so hot.
Head to toe in denim.
Black denim.
No hogging on her. Not got any water or anything. Nah. Right. And just, in the 10-second space that we've decided to look at her, she's full on browned out and at the deck.
Folded,
she face front into the platform concrete, and I was like, she's lost her teeth.
Oh yeah.
She's got a cracked skull.
And bear in mind, the second time we've seen this in 2 days.
Yeah, and we can't get off the train because it's like a fucking sardine can.
Yeah.
So luckily, obviously people
there were people around and
and they got her into like
she was
fucking
like
recovery
fully
position.
didn't have her legs when she got back up pretty soon, but it was a heat stroke.
Yeah, again,
thing.
just shit admin.
Yeah,
you're dehydrated and you're wearing double denim in the baking heat.
Yeah, again, personal fucking admin.
Yeah.
Just take care of yourself. It's not hard, is it?
No.
But again, it's just mental. So that was another one. I haven't seen that happen probably ever in my life before.
We've seen two in 2 days. 2 in 2 days, yeah, 2 in 48 hours. So that was fucking...
So that was I forgot about it. Fucking...
Yeah, so where were we up to? Oh yeah, basically. So we're in this remote Bavarian train station in the arse end of nowhere. There's about 500 people on the platform. It's like the evacuation of Afghanistan a few years ago, isn't it? Yeah. It's just carnage. Yeah. Most people, again, wrapped and just
get on the piss.
Just turn to boozing, which is never going to end well because it's still 32 degrees at this point.
Well, you're dehydrating yourself. From a physiological standpoint, it's not good because you're going to be dehydrated. But from a practical standpoint, it's also shit because now you're going to be pissed by the time the fucking next train comes.
Yeah.
You're then going to be sandwiched in with... So I can imagine anything worse than being pissed and sandwiched into a really massive train.
It's heavy petting over there.
Oh.
Heavy...
Well, I might turn the camera.
Heavy petting... HPS, we've developed a new term as well. We've noticed that for some reason every Sunday there's a lot of heavy petting about.
Heavy petting Sundays.
Yeah. And there was just some off camera, which caught my eye.
You might have to hear it.
But so... It was like the evacuation of Afghanistan, wasn't it? And you need to have your wits about you in those situations because
to try and make dynamic
situations. Seconds count.
Yeah.
So if you're pissed and half soaked, you're not gonna. You're certainly not gonna. Yeah. You're not gonna capitalise on someone else's weakness.
Exactly. We'll get to that next week.
We'll get to that, but we are going to leave it on a cliffhanger because that's when our luck started to
go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got underrated, overrated.
It's either underrated.
You've charmed me.
Or it's overrated.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
Shit, I haven't got one. What have you got?
I've got an underrated, overrated, and we'll try not for this to go on for too long as it could do.
Okay, do yours. I'll try and think of one on the spot.
Right. Okay. Underrated, overrated. Bagging off on a night out.
I knew you were gonna do this. I think it depends.
Well, right. So this has become another running theme of the holiday. On a night out, it would appear that when we reach a certain blood alcohol threshold, me and Shep go in very different directions.
Yeah, we very much diverge.
Yeah. A lot of the blood in my body goes to my stomach, and a lot of the blood in Shep's body goes to his cock. As in, we reach a certain point in the night. Also, apologies for the sirens in the background. But someone else has rapped, as you can tell.
Yeah, as you probably tell.
But yeah, so when I'm pissed, right, I have a dance, and then because I've danced, I build up a hunger, and then I want scran. Chef reaches a certain point in the night, and he's had a dance, and then he wants a scran of a different kind.
I could throw you under the bus here, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll save that for next episode because we need to air some dirty laundry.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, I just think it's overrated because. Well, no, you are right. It's context specific because if it happens organically, then obviously like there's nothing wrong with that. But it's I don't like the culture.
If you got pure dug out for like a fucking 3 out of 10,
this is what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't like the culture of blokes who go on a night out and if they come home empty-handed, which is a horrible way to look at a night out anyway. It's deemed a failure to the extent where they will just effectively try and bag anyone off.
Just minesweep for the last kind of fucking 45
And like,
minutes.
what's the point in that? Because you're not enjoying it. You're just basically have been conditioned to think, oh, well, when you go out, you pull. So if I don't pull, I'm a failure.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
That's stupid, isn't it? Because like,
I can't get on board with that. If it happens, if you like see a girl you like,
yeah, obviously, if like
if
a Scandi Lenga approaches you in a bar or gives you the eye, you'd be rude not to.
Yeah. But this sometimes causes a rift.
Because as we've stated, I get hungry, so I'm hangry at this point, and you've got the horn. so that's not a good mix, is it? Because I'm very different energies there.
Yeah, and I'm usually at this point, I've got my eye on someone.
Yeah, he's normally got target lock on. And I've emotionally checked out of the day.
Yeah, I can see, always seeing Eddie's eyes. He's like, he's fucking counting down the seconds.
I was conscious of it yesterday, so like, I will just start looking around and publicly just dismissing people around me, won't I? Yeah, I'll just fucking start shaking my head at people.
casting
aspersions. And as you said, you've got target lock on at this point.
I have got target lock on, yeah. Still haven't got them fucking right over it. You caught me off guard with that.
Yeah, I caught you off guard with the weekly podcast segments that we do all the time.
Yeah. No, you caught me off guard with your
the bagging off.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
What else has become a point of contention that we can discuss on the podcast?
Don't know. We seem to agree on a lot. Don't know, because we assume our roles pretty well. Like you're the naver.
I am the naver. I'm absolutely amazing at navigation, by the way. I'm actually like a fucking homing pigeon.
Yeah, you are.
Which has become apparent. Drunk or sober, I will get you where you want to go.
Very true.
But what else? I'm just thinking of something we can discuss.
Okay, underrated, overrated. London Underground, because I always used to think.
Yeah, right. I like this. This is good because this brings us on to inner city public transport in Europe.
I always used to think that London Underground was fucking class. It's like, this is unbelievable. Obviously, that's where it started.
But it's kind of it's all we knew, isn't it?
Yeah, and so like, but now I know it's fucking roasting.
Yeah.
It's shit for cigs. There's no signal.
No siggings.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's shit.
Yeah, so I was the same. I always thought the London Underground was the best. It was the first underground in the world, you know. And then you come to places like Prague or, you know, Vienna or Munich, who you wouldn't even associate with, you know, undergrounds or metros, you know, because they're not kind of major cities.
Yeah.
And you come here, you don't have to pay. You're supposed to pay. It's more like an honour system.
Yeah,
so
we've been going
but
I haven't on the dishonour side.
I've been going for the dishonesty policy. So you don't have to pay. It's regular. It's clean. Regular. It's cool. So they're all air conditioned.
Easy to navigate. The signal.
The underground. So on the underground there is still 4G,
which is mental.
That's
I don't know
class.
how they do that.
Because obviously it's a known fact on the London Underground. Like you don't take a book on your commute to work.
You're in a dead zone.
You're in a dead zone. It's just.
Yeah,
it's just dead space.
Which is mad because again, like I always think that is the gold standard, but I've now had my eyes open to the fact that Europe's fucking doing it loads better.
Yeah, and I am very tempted to move to Prague, but we'll save
We'll get to that.
But yeah, apart from the Deutsche Bahn, so like the actual trains, like everything else we've been on is class. Like buses have been class.
Well, the inner city.
Yeah, tram networks have been class. Metros have been class.
Yeah, because we started in pretty stupid actually, but we started in Buda getting like Bolts, which are basically like Uber.
Yeah, which was stupid.
Is so expensive.
That was poor admin on our part.
Yeah, very very expensive, and you're not really saving much either by doing that. and you don't see as much, which is obviously an L. And so I definitely think that it's overrated. Probably the.
Another underrated,
tube system.
overrated. That's the one. This is the one that we were going to cover. Beer.
Okay. Ah, fucking hell, yeah.
Beer. Very shit.
So where this has come from as well is, in all these places we've been, they're known around the world for having like cheap beer.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, we'll double down on that, have loads of beer. But then what they do is they trick you, because if you get any spirits throughout the night, they like bump the prices fucking up by like, I don't know, 2x or whatever. So
the equivalent to the UK, say, all these places are kind of like £2 a pint, so cheaper than the UK.
Yeah.
If you then suddenly get onto spirits, it's
like £8.
It's easily UK prices, maybe a bit more.
yeah.
So that's where they get you, isn't it?
Yeah, and we historically would always drink on spirits, but we were like, okay, we'll make an exception because it's cheaper to
when in Rome.
Yeah, to do beer.
Do
But
as
it
the
turns
Romans
out
do. Yeah.
that we've done two full nights out on just beer.
Yeah.
And both times, well, we lost our head.
Yeah. One for a better phrase, I lost my head.
The hangover is worse.
Yeah, I think that's
and
to do
the
with
feeling of actually like being pissed on these various things. Is just very different.
So obviously we normally booze on spirit. So I've conditioned my body to basically drinking like fucking lighter fluid.
Yeah.
So I like high strength stuff.
Yeah.
And because beer's only like 5-6%, and you're drinking lots of volume, it just disagrees with me.
You don't feel good after.
I just feel groggy. So like I feel lethargic, like you do when you piss. You know, when like everything starts to go a bit numb. I feel sedated. But when you're on spirits, you also have that buzz. You don't have it with beer. You just feel leggy.
I don't get it. I don't get because it tastes shit.
Yeah, it tastes. You have to drink copious amounts of it.
Yeah.
To get anywhere.
It's
It's
beer, massively
overrated. I mean, as of like, don't get me wrong. If the purpose of your night was just to have a few with your mates, that would be sound. But we're basically on about sessions here.
Yeah. If you're going out.
If you're going out to get rowdy, beer's crap. Effectively.
Yeah. So I agree. Overrated for beer.
So that brings us up to the present, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we're now in Prague. So this is Sunday. So we've
had 3 days.
So we've had three wonderful days in Prague, which we will talk about in the next episode. We won't give too much away, but we're moving on.
Next episode we'll cover Prague, Berlin and Hamburg.
Yeah, so expect some loose dits in the third and final episode. And then when we get home and we've decompressed of it, we may do a brief overview episode as well.
Like a roundup.
A roundup of the whole trip. We might do it, turn it into a bit of a rating system. So we'll break it down into categories.
System.
Yeah, we'll break it down into categories and see who comes out on top, which is the best city.
Let's do the same. So let's combine Munich and Vienna.
Yeah, and give it a score.
Give them a score for culture, nightlife, and gyms. That's what we did last week.
Yeah. So, you want to kick us off, or
are we going to combine them? Yeah, I'll kick it off. So we do culture first. To be fair, I think not too bad. I'd give it like a 6.5, 7. Because that opera was sick on it. So I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I mean, Vienna and Munich obviously have a lot of rich cultural heritage. It's just not particularly up our street.
True.
Really.
Yeah.
So
we
like, if you're
an
in
open air opera, which was free, which was sick.
Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, we're not into opera, but even we could appreciate that.
That was
it was very powerful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was class. So I go 7 for that.
Yeah, same 7. Munich again was. I mean, we only made it to the Allianz, but there was a lot to do there.
Yeah, if we'd had more time.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been a 7. Unfortunately, nightlife was naff in both, really, wasn't it?
Berlin's slightly better, but still not great. In that demonic, demonic place. Yeah.
Munich, yeah. Munich slightly better, given the fact that it was a Wednesday as well. Tuesday? Wednesday. So not too bad. Probably give that like a 5, 6 at a push.
Nah, 5, because we gave Buda a 6.5.
Oh right, yeah, okay, that's firmly a 5. And then Vienna is absolutely toilet for nightlife.
Shocking.
Yeah, to the extent where even the locals just rapped when we asked them. Like, we were going out of our way to ask.
Like, there was loads of people on the same like track as us, where we would just they would go into a bar, think this is shit, go out and think where the fuck do you go now?
Yeah, you could watch them from a mile off. You could spot it. And like we asked so many locals, and they were like, the universities aren't here at this time of year. It's shit.
That's no excuse.
Yeah, that's
not
bollocks,
good enough, mate.
So I'll give Vienna like a 3.
Gyms. So obviously we mentioned about the commercial gyms. We're going to focus on the gyms that we actually like to go.
Yeah, the gyms, the CrossFit gyms. So obviously the commercial gyms are a write-off, but commercial gyms are shit wherever you go, so you can't look too much into that.
The CrossFit gym in Vienna and the CrossFit gym in... Oh, we didn't go to the CrossFit gym in Munich, but it looks sick.
Yeah, it looks sick, because we obviously went in there and he's like, oh, it's full, but we obviously had a look around.
It did look fucking good.
The CrossFit gym in Vienna was class. Like, I could train out of that gym, like, permanently.
Yeah, sick.
Like,
So I'll give that a 9 again.
Yeah, I'll give that a 9. And also, the bloke who was fucking staffing at the time, yeah, the coach, he was so, like, helpful, wasn't he?
He was class.
He was class, so laid back. He's horizontal.
Yeah, and a good coach. So I'll give it a 9 for that.
More heavy petting.
Fucking hell.
She's getting round him.
Also, so yeah, we've got reasons to be cheerful. It's going to be very brief reasons to be cheerful because we're going to cover more depth next week.
Reasons to be cheerful.
But yeah, so
reasons to be cheerful. He's Prague.
Yeah.
And I won't give too much away, but basically we befriended some people who did us a massive favour. And yeah, I don't know.
We'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there. I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in trouble. Well, you'll find out next week, because
so tune in.
More time will have passed since then. I don't care of disclosing it on the internet. So.
Yeah, tune in next week. And make sure, if you're on YouTube, please, that you subscribe, because a lot of you watch, but you don't subscribe. I haven't got the statistic like Steve Bartlett does, but I might get that next week.
Yeah, this is a mutually beneficial exchange as well, because if you subscribe, then we obviously have more status, and we'll attract better guests that you can then enjoy.
Exactly.
So it's a
give and give.
It's a give situation.
Yeah, we like that.
So we'll cut it off there, because there's something rather graphic going on off camera that I would like to watch a bit more closely.
Okay, cool. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed our fucking debauchery.
Yeah, well, there'll be plenty more of that next week. Stay tuned.